When talk about RPG games, what are the first names that come to your mind? Maybe it's The Witcher, maybe it's Skyrim, maybe it's more of the recent one, like Genshin, maybe the game of the year, Baldur's Gate 3, Elden Ring. But all along those names, or even before that, it's probably JRPG games like the Manas, the Saga series, Dragon Quest, Final Fantasy. From a small sub-company that almost didn't make it, to create an absolute dynasty in gaming history, this video present Square Enix. Alright, believe it or not, Square Enix actually from two companies, Square and Enix. Yeah, we're gonna start off with Square because their name literally upfront, and it's upfront for a reason. Square started off as a sub-company to their parent company, Inuyasha. In 1984, Star published their very first game for the personal computer, The Death Trap. You see, gaming in this era, home gaming is not as dominant as today. If you're talking about gaming, everybody would think of the arcade. The arcade was definitely dominant in Japan 80s. And look at the price of the PC at the time. Bruh. But bro's still developing it. Why? I don't know. Maybe for story-based game, because the arcade don't really have story to it, I guess. And how was it after release, you may ask? Well, it was doing okay. At a price of around 6,000 yen, sales were around 5,000 to 10,000 copies. Not so good, but good enough to continue their journey. This is also the same year that Nintendo released Famicom, aka NES in the US. But that has nothing to do with Square for now, at least for now. They continued to release more games in 1985, Will Death Trap 2, Alpha, Cruise Chaser, and comes the 1986. This is the first time they touch Famicom by the game texture. Though this is not developed by Square, it's developed by Game Arts but poured into the Famicom by Square. It's just a simple run and gun game, nothing in particular, with the influence of scoring shooter genre that popular at the time, like Guardians, R-Type, Radius. King's Knights turned out to be a scoring shooter, but horizontally, and kinda fantasy based. This year, they also separate themselves as a independent company. Nintendo released the Famicom Disk System. This makes the production cheaper. The normal cartridge game was pricing around 5,000 to 6,000 yen. The Disk System game only cost around 3,500 to 4,000. Square have created a specific theme for developing this system, but the catch is, there's the feature where if you already own the disc, you can bring the same disc to rewrite the new game for only 500 yen. This means instead of 4,000, you only need to pay 500 yen for the new game. This quite affects the revenue of developer company. Let's look at how many games they have released just a year after the disc system released. Suisho no Dragon, Deep Dungeon Mado Senki, The 3D Battles of World Runner, Apple Town Story, Mystery Quest, Jikai Shonen Metman, Cleopatra no Maho, Rat Racer, Nakayama Miho no Tokimeki High School, JJ Tobidase Daisakusen Part 2. Yeah, crazy indeed, right? They have been invested a lot into this system. A lot of these game quality not quite good. And the sales were kinda underperformed to the point that company literally going bankrupt. Just because they were growing too fast, they just invest too much. The father of Final Fantasy, Hironobu Sakaguchi, one of the developers, have been waiting to make serious RPG game. Inspired by the Western RPG like Ultima, Wizardry, Dragon Quest by their rival, Enix. At the very beginning, nobody wanted to work on Final Fantasy, because Setup thought it was too ambitious, too risky, and doomed to fail. By early 1987, Square was in a bad financial shape. This system game flopped. They wanted to work on the action, fast, flashy game because it's simpler to make. The RPG were considered slow, boring, hard to sell, too complicated. Only Enix Dragon Quest has shown success. Square people consider RPG as a gamble, especially led by Sakaguchi, who had never made a hit game so far. Some Square staff actually avoid him in the hallway. Eventually, people who believe in RPG concept had nothing to lose, or just because the other project that they wanted to participate is already full, so they have to join him. Forming a small team, they work in a small corner of the Square office, but since Final Fantasy started developing in late 1986, 1987, a lot of this game were flopped, and the company facing the financial crisis. None of the company's upcoming games were gonna save them. The momentum slowly built. The prototype started to come together. One of the co-founders, Hiromachi Tanaka, convinced the management to give the project bigger budget. The music, visual, combat system made the game feel something special. When the management got nothing left, the Final Fantasy became the only hope. Their focus shifted into the game. A massive 2 megabit cartridge, marketing budget, a pre-release, media coverage. Sakaguchi was told directly, if this failed, we shut down. December 18th, 1987, Final Fantasy released, and the rest is history. Saved the Square financial, Sakaguchi gained his reputation and cleared out all their disk system fails. After this lesson, they have prioritized the quality over quantity. From developing and releasing over 10 games in 1987, in the following year, 1988, they released only 5. Actually, only 3 of them they actually developed, 2 of them they just published it. One of them, of course, is Final Fantasy II. Oh, it's not so crazy like the first one, since it's a sequel, but this definitely defines Square a RPG game company. 1989, Nintendo released new console game, the Game Boy. Square also took this opportunity to create Saga. They're also trying different genres like action, sports, board game, and visual novels. In 1990, Final Fantasy III, introducing a bunch of new features. Nintendo released new Super Famicom. In 1991, we got Seiken Densetsu, Final Fantasy IV. This year, they also switched their CEO. The founder CEO stepped down. In just a matter of 3 years of IPOing, they got their CEO changed. We're like, that's insane. In 1992, Mystic Quest, first released in Europe. Romancing Saga, Final Fantasy V. 1983, Secret of Mana, Romancing Saga 2. 1984, Final Fantasy VI, Live Alive. PS2 claims to be much better than 64 Nintendo with the beautiful 3D graphics, and Square people like, oh, let's move to the PS, bro. Yeah, 64 sucks, bro. PS2 is much better. Just move to PS2, man. And this actually gets to the year of the Nintendo CEO at the time, Yamauchi Hiro. And not long after, Square starts DigiCube, which what it does is to sell game in the convenience store, because you can see convenience store in Japan, it's everywhere. And Square say like, oh, if you want to buy a game, just buy it in the convenience store. It's much simpler. And buying doing this is like just saying it. Nintendo just old now. We are in the new era. We're gonna surpass Nintendo now. And this makes Nintendo just ban the Square. No more Square games in Nintendo console ever. They just ban them out. After 7 years, DigiCube actually ends because I don't know, they kind of underperform. On the other hand, Enix still owns a good relationship with Nintendo. They still publish a lot of games in Nintendo. In 1995, released Front Missions, Chrono Trigger, Seiken Densetsu 3, Romancing Saga 3. And the same year, they changed the CEO again. I don't know why, they just changed the guy named Mizuno to the new guy named Hisashi. The reason of like changing the CEO is not really out published to the public. I don't really know what happened, so they just changed CEO, just know that. 1996, release Radical Dreamers, Mahamud Lagoon, Front Mission, God Hazard, Super Mario RPG, Treasure of the Rudas, and Treasure Hunter. You see, up until now, Square games have been doing pretty decent. With a big name like Final Fantasy VI, Chrono Trigger, we're selling in the range of 2 to 4 million copy, but that's nothing compared to this. For a crazy over 10 million copies? For comparison, the recent Final Fantasy 16 only sold for 3.5 million. This makes Square be known globally. In 1997, they also released Final Fantasy Tactics, Saga Frontier, Front Mission 2. 1998, Xenogear, Parasite Eve. In 1999, Saga Frontier 2, Legends of Mana, Front Mission 3, Final Fantasy Anthology, Threads of Fate, Chrono Cross, Parasite Eve 2. And here comes the year 2000. This guy named Yuichi Wada got into the company as a COO. This guy, bro. We're gonna come back to him in a sec. Production on Final Fantasy, The Spirit Within, the generational full CGI movie with the crazy graphics, and it's over budget from original 70 to 80 millions USD up to 137 millions, almost 2 times the original budget. You know what else is over budget, bro? GTA 6. Upon its release in 2001, The Spirits Within was met with a mixed critical reception and got the gross profit of only 85 millions. That's barely makes up the original budget. Let's hope there's nothing like that happening again. Sakaguchi got forced out the movie production, but kept on as an exclusive producer for Final Fantasy. Suzuki stepped down as a president and was placed by Wada, the goddamn guy Yuichi Wada, bro. This guy, man, he started discussed with Enix about the merger, but that doesn't really matter. See, this Wada guy is a business side mind. Under Wada, the company underwent restructuring with the intent of streamlining production and resources, and cutting develop costs and increase profit. Expand into the mobile gaming and MMORPG, encouraging milking of existing IPs. A lot of sequels, spin-offs, remaster, especially for Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts, bro. Prioritize profit over creativity. Basically, prioritize the quantity over quality. You know who else prioritizes the quantities over quality? Bruh. This is the reason why this Final Fantasy 13 got so much fucking spin-offs, fucking sequels. That's crazy. And a lot of the game too, not just Final 13. And then in 2002 we got Final Fantasy 11. And 2003 the Final X2. And then we got the merger with Enix. After the merger, 80% of the employee are Square employee side. And Yuichi Wada guy, he got into the CEO of the new company. Let's look at Enix side a little bit. Enix was founded by this guy named Yasuhiro Fukushima. You see, this guy is very, let's say, enthusiasm. Earlier, he was doing newspaper publishing, selling sushi, and a lot more. Some of them actually doing pretty good, some of them not. But he nah bro, it's not enough. He starts selling computer, and later became the top seller in Tokyo. But he's still nah bro, not enough. Let's do some game. And that's the beginning of Enix. At start, Enix didn't develop game itself. It held contests by let the contestant send their game, and the winner got their game published, and the winning prize of 1 million yen. Although that's not really what it was, but whatever. Well, that was the born of Dragon Quest. Maybe not any other place in the world, but in Japan, Dragon Quest was huge. Not just one, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6. You see, Enix better with selling merch, even though Enix site only publisher, not the developer, and the Dragon Quest their major game, the release time of each Dragon Quest game is so far from each other. Does that mean they grow slower? No, not really. Remember who is the CEO of this company? Yasuhiro Fukushima, a very enthusiastic guy. Other than publishing the game, he also publishing the magazine, the manga, etc. And with the same method, hosting the contest and let the contestants send their ideas, and the winner got the publishing. And apparently it works pretty good too. In around year 2000, a lot of the magazine that Enix been publishing went to do magazine on their own. At the same period of time that they were discussing about the merger. Not just Square, they were actually discussing the merger with Namcom too. But in the end, we all know what we ending up. After the merger, amazing progressed? Not exactly. You see, Square, who mainly make their own game, and Enix, who mainly outsource their products. Their workers couldn't communicate pretty well. Square merged with Enix, and they reconstruct their relationship with Nintendo. But with the company different direction now, led to a lot of original Square workers quit later on. 2003, this year, we got Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, Unlimited Saga, Dragon Guard, Star Ocean. In 2004, massive success in mobile gaming in Japan. If you didn't know, Japan's mobile infrastructure was way ahead of the West. Before the iPhone incident in 2007, in Japan, we got the ultimate aura farming flip phone with the big titles like Before Crisis, Final Fantasy VII, the mobile version of Dragon Quest, Final Fantasy 1 and 2. This year, released Front Mission 4, Dragon Quest 8. In 2005, rumors about the early work began for the next-gen game engine like PS3 and Xbox 360. This year, released Musashi, Samurai Legend, Final Fantasy VII, Thirst of Severus, Code H Commanders, Roaming Saga, Bistro Song. Oh, and we got the film too, Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. Again in this year, titles like Final Fantasy XI still going strong on PC and PS2, almost doubling their revenue from last year. In 2006, released Final Fantasy XII, 5-year gap from Final Fantasy XI. And we got the 3D remake of Final Fantasy III for the DS console. They still continue to dominate in mobile gaming market. The flip phone game is actually pretty good, apparently. In 2007, released Crystal Core Final Fantasy VII on PSP, Final Fantasy XII Revelant Wings, Final Fantasy Tactics, The War of Lions, remake of Final Fantasy IV for Nintendo DS, Dragon Quest Swords, The Masked Queen, and The Tower of Miners. In 2008, released Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Rings of Fate, The World End With You, Final Fantasy IV The After Years, Infinite Undiscovery, Sigma Harmonix. In 2009, released Final Fantasy XIII in PS3, Dragon Quest IX, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Echoes of Time, Final Fantasy The Four Heroes of Light, Blood of Bahamut, Geomancer, Dragon Quest Wars. And this year, they also acquired Eidos, a British video game developer and publisher with the big titles Tomb Raider, Hitman, Deus Ex. In 2010, released games like Final Fantasy XIV, still very dominating. After around 15 years, there's still quite a impressive amount of player too. Tactics Ogre, Let Us Cling Together, Front Mission Evolve, Mind Jack. And this year, Digital manga launch. They pretty much launch every game on every platform now. In 2011, Final Fantasy 13-2, Deus Ex Human Revolution, Kingdom Hearts 3D, Dream Drop Distance, 2012, Dragon Quest X, Rise of the Five Tribes Online, Third Rhythm, Final Fantasy, Guardian Cross. In 2013, Tomb Raider, Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn, a Kingdom Hearts 1.5 Remix, Remaster for PS3, Dragon Guard 3. Finally, this Yoichi Wada guy steps down as a CEO due to the financial loss. Remember that they bought Eidos? Yeah. These titles, like Tomb Raider, Hitman, and Sleep Dogs, failed to meet the sales expectation. And who came to replace him? Introduce you this guy named Yosuke Matsuda. He's the NFT focused guy. Like, what the fuck? I know. After this transition, he focused more on the mobile and online gaming, mostly the MMORPG. 2014, we got the Final Fantasy X and X2 remaster for PS3, Bravely Default, released in the Western, Lara Croft and the Temple of Osiris. Hitman Go on mobile, Murdered Soul Suspect, and publish my absolute favorite manga, Kageguri. Well, I only introduced you a major of game after the merger, but the other business from the enix side still remains with them, like the manga publishing, magazine publishing. The manga is still relevant, but like it's not as big as the game. Instead of massive budget failures, Square Enix encountered smaller projects. In 2015, we have Final Fantasy Type 0 HD Remaster on PS4 and Xbox One. Just Cause 3, Rise of Tomb Raider, Dragon Quest Heroes, Life is Strange, and Hitman Sniper. This year announced the remake of The Legend Final Fantasy VII. In 2016, we have Final Fantasy 15, Deus Ex Mankind Divide, World of Fantasy, Dragon Quest Builders, Star Ocean, Integrity, and the Fatelessness, Mobius Final Fantasy, Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, Kingdom Hearts Unchained. You see, crazy Final Fantasy, the 15 one, a lot of them. 2017, one of my favorite game of all time, Nier Automata, the extent of Final Fantasy XIV, Storm Blood, Dragon Quest XI, Echoes of an Exclusive Age, The Lost Spear. 2018, Octopath Traveler, Dragon Quest Builders 2, The Quiet Man. In 2019, Kingdom Hearts 3, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Just Cause 4, Dragon Quest Walk. It was first in January of this year that we got the first glimpse into the Square Enix president's plans. He told the investor in his annual New Year's address, with the subsiding of the cryptocurrency bubble, the use of blockchain technology has spread to the variety of non-cryptocurrency domains as well. One has been the gaming space, where there have been some interesting developments with games and game platform services using blockchain technology. We're also very interested in potential applications for blockchain technology in digital content space. However, the first notable product haven't been shown until 2021. 2020, a long wait. Final Fantasy VII Remake. Bro, this game was such a banger. I love this remake so much. It's such a, you know what I'm saying? I want to play this game as long as I can. Trails of Mana, Kingdom Hearts, Melody of Memory, War of the Visions, Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. 2021, Bravery Default 2, Neo, The World Ends With You, Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster Series, Final Fantasy VII, The First Soldier, Millions Author, This is the first notable products of their NFT digital collectibles. The gacha scammed all your bank account game. Bro, just look at the gameplay here. Like, bro, it's just funny. I mean, 2022. The extent to the Final Fantasy XIV. Walker. Babylon's Fall. Final Fantasy VII Remake released on PC. Live Alive HD2 Remake. The Diophil Chronicle. Star Ocean. The Divine Force. Crisis Core. Final Fantasy VII Reunion. Symbiogenesis. Another NFT game. You already know what it is. Square Enix, after owning Eidos for quite a while now, they sell Eidos off in this year. 2023. Final Fantasy XVI. Infinity / Dragon Quest Adventure of Dai. Under Matsuda's leadership, the company faced the high-profile setbacks, including Babylon Fall, Forspoken, underwhelming results from Tomb Raider and Deus Ex IPs, leading to a major revenue losses. The NFT that Matsuda been obsessing start to kick back. You already know how much controversial NFT is. The community indeed don't really appreciate it. Takashi Kiryu, appointed as CEO in May 2023. He claims he's a big fan of Final Fantasy series, and he said that he's gonna shift back from a cheap play and earn games back to focus on a major development game, basically shipping back to its origin, quality over quantity, applying AI and other cutting-edge technologies to content development and publishing functions. In 2024, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the extent to Final Fantasy XIV, the Dawn Trail, Dragon Quest III HD Remake, The Visions of Mana, Saga Emerald Beyond, Form Stars, Fantasian, Neo Dimension. Cancellations. Square Enix cancelled several HD game projects, resulting in a 22 billion loss as a part of reverse approach to game development. The company shifted focus away from the blockchain and NFT projects, emphasizing the quality HD game development. 2025, the current state of the company. And this year, we are having Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on the PC, Bravery Default Flying Fairy HD Remaster. In June, Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD Remake are coming out. Multi-platform expansion. Square Enix has confirmed that Final Fantasy VII Remake will be available on the upcoming Nintendo Switch 2. In a collaboration with Lightspeed Studios, Square Enix announced a mobile version of Final Fantasy XIV. Square Enix continued to leverage its HD 2D engine, combining pixel art with 3D effects. It remakes the classic titles like Dragon Quest 1 and 2. How are we doing so far? Well, Kiryu claiming prioritize quality over quantity. Despite how good it sounds, the financial performance not very good. The operating income has been decreasing every year since Kiryu became the CEO. The PlayStation exclusive like Final Fantasy XVI, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, despite the decent early numbers, didn't hit the sales expectation. How the quality of the game? Well, he is indeed a Final Fantasy fan. The Final Fantasy series definitely performed good, but with other titles, not so good. His direction is definitely good, back to the origin, but is it good enough to change the company that had been built from Yoichi Wada influence for over 20 years? Will he be keeping up before the board decide to change the CEO again? The answer is